Hi, I'm Sylvie. Before getting started with my realistic roleplay videos on YouTube, I decided that it was best to give you all some insight on myself and my unique family situation. With no further delay, let's begin. My story starts here in the small city of Yarlock. I'm currently 21 years old and sharing a house with my adopted sister, Rune. You see, I started out in the adoption agency since I was an infant, and my biological parents still remain unknown. Thankfully, when I turned 3 years old, I was adopted by an older man named Gavin, who had recently received custody of his granddaughter, as her father became a drunkard after her mother passed away in childbirth. At age 14, I fell in love with horses and began riding with Rune at the local stable. And years later, we rescued our first horses. A purebred North-Swedish acting as a surrogate mother to an abandoned Creek colt, both soon being dubbed Wolfie and Sebastian. This is Whispering Spirits, or Wolfie as she was later dubbed. Imported from Norway around 4 years of age, her new home wasn't the kindest. Purchased by a rich family to be their son's new pony, the boy wanted her to have a blue nose and eventually took some permanent marker and sparkly blue paint and continued to color in her creamy white snip, resulting in a permanent stain on her nose and a slight skin infection. Despite it all, she is very gentle with children, but hates them touching her nose. Soon for fun, I convinced Rune to enter an upcoming Hunter Jumper show just to give them some show experience. Outstandingly, they came home with 3rd place. Tie or not, I could tell she was proud. This is Angel of Darkness, or Sebastian. He faced some severe neglect when he was a colt. Deemed unsafe for their little boy to be around, they left him pastured with a halter on his face. Soon enough, disaster struck as it grew into his face, permanently deforming the bridge of his nose, leaving a permanent dip. As a 3-year-old, a colt full of energy, when the little boy startled him from behind, he kicked out in defense and cut up his back right leg deeply enough a scar remained. When he finally came to me, it took Rune and Gavin holding his head steady and me cutting the rotten thing out of his face with wire cutters. Through hard work and dedication, we made it through the trials and got accepted into the Olympics. Sadly, that was our final ride together. Sad to say, my handsome and well-loved pre-stallion passed away from colic, and it was too late to help him. 3 weeks before the Olympics and Sebastian's passing, Rune and I had been signed up for the PRC, or Pony Rescue Camp. Upon arrival and sign-in, we had been immediately ushered towards a pen housing our rehab ponies. The first, a gray hormone-implanted fell pony stallion with a black mane, and a chestnut Tobiano Welsh cob mare who looked to be about D-class, originally named Ghost and Little Red. We got right to work, working through their quirks that kept them from being adopted. Soon enough, our attachment grew into love for them, and we couldn't resist naming them Puka and Cora. After a heartbreaking goodbye to our sweet ponies, we headed home and got packed for the Olympics. Just 2 days before Gavin pulled us aside and handed us some papers, but not just any papers. They were the adoption files for our ponies. We were ecstatic, and it was so surreal to actually be the owners of these beautiful ponies that we had trained. Oh, Repo Man. Repo Man falling in my life was an accident. You see, Repo is a racing legend after his sire, Secretariat. I made my way to the Storm Garden, where a puppy mill was found illegally. Initially not planning to bring home more than maybe just a dog if anything. After adopting my newfound canine ranger, I went to go retrieve him from his pen. I slipped and ended up dropping his leash. Brushing myself off, I stumbled upon an abandoned farm, aimlessly horsing around out of boredom in a maze of fences and stone walls with a stallion. Unsettled by his situation, I came upon a tack trunk rotting away nearby. Digging inside, I was shocked to find his jockey club registration papers and his birth certificate. With a quick phone call, I learned more about this horse within about a half hour than I did about Cora in 3 weeks. Suffering mistreatment from his owner off the track, the authorities tried to rehome him, but he vanished after his last win, and the money still remained missing. I wasn't looking for a new horse, and quite frankly, I didn't want one. I had Cora, after all. But as fate would have it, he ended up in my care and as my responsibility, and new horse. I wasn't sure what to do, but couldn't break his trust thus far. Taking him home, I was able to spot some serious potential in him as an eventing prospect, but hesitated. After all, I wasn't after a bounce-back horse. Despite my initial doubts and worries, it all worked out. I'm very lucky to have this very special animal in my care. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had hoped that there would be a bit more information that I could put in this video just to make it a bit longer, just so that it was easier for all of you to follow my story once I started up with my videos. Now, just a quick thing before we end, Cora's in-game model is the Chestnut Tobiano Tinker that just came out. So she would look different in my videos than she does in my edits, but unfortunately I am not able to change that. Repo's in-game model is the dark bay Tricaner, but I did give him a two-tone tail and the sock off the bay Tricaner. So he will look a bit different, but either way it's still Repo. Now with all of that cleared up, I'll see you all next time. Let me know in the comments below what kind of video you would like to see posted first, and remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon in the middle so that you're notified every time I post.